Hello everyone. Today we have with us Bharath. He's currently working as SD1 at Swiggy. So we basically joined Swiggy together and we mutually helped each other to get there, in fact. And we both graduated in July 2020. And today he's here with us to share his interview experience with HackWithInfy. Hi, Bharath.
Yeah, hi Shashank. Yeah, hi all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you can start with your interview experience. How was your HackWithInfy interview experience?
yeah, sure. This all this started when the Infosys just come up with a hack with Infi 2020. So basically, there were first two rounds which were online. So basically, there was a first online test and the hacker rank, I guess. So there were three questions basically. They were comprising of the first problem was actually ad hoc, and the other two was DP and a tree with a DP. I remember it went well. I was able to solve all three questions there, and then I got a mail saying that you are qualified for the second round. And again, the second round was another online test where it was again a three questions. And again, I see like there were mostly questions on DP basically. The two questions were basically on DP. One was tree with DP, and other was simple DP. And I remember other problem was based on math problem. So here also I was able to solve all the three questions. Yeah, so that is when I was qualified for the Hack Within Fee grand finale, and it was with you. Shashank was also present in the Hack
Yeah,
Within
that's the
Fee.
first time we met each other there.
Yeah, yeah, that is where I met Shashank. Correct. Yeah. So and yeah, that's it. How I qualified for Hack Within Fee, and if I talk about the interview experience, I think the day where we got into the on-site place, I think we were just given some introductions and all. On the second day, I remember ki like we were given simple questions. All the Hack Within Fee finalists were taken into a room, and they were given a simple questions, and they were asked to write a uh, code for the questions. The question was same for all, and basically the code we wrote was not on the computer. Actually, it was on the paper. So we need to write a code on paper with the programming language that we like. So I still remember ki, like the question was of a medium hard kind of thing. I didn't get the solution as soon as I saw the question. But after some time, like thinking after 15 to 20 minutes, I think I decided to solve it using a DSU, disjoint union sets.
Mhm.
Uh, and I wrote a simple code for that. And actually, when we were given 1 hour exactly, so at the end of the 1 hour, I was kind of confident ki like I can explain the approach that I took to solve the problem to whoever will ask that particular problem for me. So I wrote the code for that, and yeah, I was confident. So that solutions were collected by us, and then we were called for a one-on-one interview with the interviewers. Yeah, so the first round was ki like uh, I still remember the interviewer was a experienced person. He was like a senior employee of Infosys. And the first thing he asked was he just gave me the solution that I had written for the problem that was given to us. Yeah. So he asked me to explain the approach, and first of all, he asked me to explain the problem. He like whether I have understood the problem, because understanding problem is very important thing whenever we are solving any of the problem. So
Right.
I explained him the problem first. Like what is this, and what are we actually expected to solve, and then I explained him my solution. He was happy with my solution. Like I have used a kind of a good data structure there, and also he was confident that that would solve the problem. Still there in the interview, we were not given any laptop. It was again a paper and pen interview, not a interview where we need to write a code and take sample inputs and give the
Yeah, that started
output.
majorly because of online
Yeah,
interviewing, right? Earlier it was like based on pen and
yeah,
paper or whiteboard.
correct. So basically, that was the only interview I think where I didn't use any
Editors.
laptop, because basically it was during a non-COVID period. During
Yeah.
that time, they were not using laptop. since it's nowadays it's completely online and we are expected to code it in the some of the
Editors or docs.
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
That's the only interview that I have given where I have written the code in the paper or something like a blackboard or a whiteboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was very happy with my solution, and then he took my resume and started scanning it, and he started asking questions on all the points that I had mentioned in the resume. Like I had mentioned, like I worked on Android Studio and I have worked on Python, Django. He started asking simple questions about Python, and he started asking the projects that I have done using Python, Django, and all. Yeah, so is can complete my resume. So basically everyone should be completely aware of what they have mentioned in their resume, and they should be completely prepared to answer those questions.
Right.
Yeah, so complete like my first round of interview there completely went on the things that I have mentioned in my resume.
Okay.
And yeah, then he asked me about my like schooling and all, like in the college key, like what are the things that I'm doing in the college, and how academics is going, and everything about that key. Like he also what I'm saying here is he also stressed on the academics, uh, like whether I'm doing good, I'm a very like whether I'm a disciplined in academics and all.
Mm-hmm.
Those things were also tested upon in
Okay.
my interview.
Mm-hmm.
And then later he asked some of the data structures like stacks, queues, and all, like that. Those were very simple questions, not any problems that I have to solve using those data structures. It was like very basic things, like how you approach the stack, like what is the method of what are the methods that are used in stacks, and how do you do it. Write a simple codes for those things in a pen and paper, like how do you pop out of the stack, how do you push into the stack, and how what is the difference between queue and stack, and what is single linked list, what are doubly linked list. Those kind of very simple questions, I was able to answer all of them. So if I say the first round of interview went very well.
Mm-hmm.
um, Here I would say ki, like in the first interview I would summarize ki, like it was completely based on the problem that we saw wrote the code for, uh, and it was completely with the resume, like the points that I have mentioned in my resume, the projects that I have worked on, the technologies that I have mentioned, and how much experience do I have them, why I have mentioned them, what are the work that I have done on those technologies, and then come up with a simple questions like uh, data structures and all. And also I remember ki, like I was asked the questions regarding networking and DBA also, like database, simple SQL queries, and what is normalization,
Mm-hmm.
those kind of very simple things. And if we come
Mm-hmm.
to network, it was like the networking layers and all,
Mm-hmm.
those very simple academic things. If you are good with your academic, like I think it should be enough for database and networking. And
Mm-hmm.
also yeah, that's it. And then he asked about my personal things, like it was it's a kind of a common ritual, right, for interviews. Do I
Uh-huh.
interview for 50 minutes, and then at the end of the interview they usually ask about our personal hobbies and all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's how my first round went. I was very confident ki, like yeah, I'll have a good impression on the interviewer after the first round. And again there was a second round. Again it was a technical, and in the second round I remember I was given one problem, simple DSA kind of problem, not a very hard problem. It was a very simple, easy problem, as I remember. I don't remember the exact problem because it was around 1.5 or 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it was I was given a simple problem to which I gave a solution, and the interviewer was different again,
Mm-hmm.
and it also went well. So I was able to solve the problem, and again he went with some of the technologies that I have mentioned in resume. So basically, in all the interviews that I went for, the interviewer had already my resume. So it's very important ki, like we mention only those things in the resume that we are actually can talk about. Uh,
Right.
yeah, that so my second round went like in that way, and it went well. I was able to solve the problem, and I was also able to talk confidently about the things that interviewer actually asked of me. And that was the end of the technical rounds, and then I was asked for an HR round, where I was asked only for the top three places that I would like to work for, and some of the other things very natural. Like it was not kind of any technical. It was a very general thing, like the places that I would like for, and if I was okay with the shifts and all,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah. After that, it was the results are not rolled out immediately, if you
Mm.
remember.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were then taken for the actual uh, hackathon, and the results, actually I saw the results when I was getting into the flights while
Uh-huh.
returning home. Then I saw ki, like I was given a specialist programmer, that is almost a power programmer role,
Mm.
with a package of 8 LPA. I was very happy on that, and yeah, my interview went very successful.
Okay, great. So one of the key learnings I think is for juniors, they're worried about whether to go in depth on C and DBMS topics. So it is good if you go, but even if you're good with the basics, like basic concepts in these subjects, and even in DSA, like how linked list stack and all work, it's not just only about competitive programming or advanced data structure. You should be able to implement these small basic things also. So that is
Yeah,
also important.
correct.
Right.
So the basic thing that interviewers will test is whether your fundamentals are correct. So if you
Yeah.
are good with your fundamentals, then you don't need to work on any trending technologies. These things,
Mm.
nowadays, key, like people are very hyped on AI and machine learning, those kind of things. I think
Mm.
juniors should focus on clearing their fundamentals instead of concentrating on the trendy things.
Right. They know like if you're good with basics, any advanced technology will anyway learn it.
Yeah, you
Then,
can learn it in a very short amount of time.
right.
Anything.
Got it. And yeah, one more thing I remember during that test they took before interview, like many people were asking so many doubts. Like the question was, I think, intentionally ambiguous because it's part of the process to see how they clarify the requirements, how they discuss and communicate, how they interpret different things. So it's important, like the juniors also, they should also ask as many clarifying questions as possible. It's not like they'll think, oh, so many silly questions. It is required and it's part of the process.
Correct. Yeah, the question was very ambiguous, and there was not a straightforward solution for it. There can be like it was the question was said that many people can solve in many approaches,
Mm.
and many doubts will come in the mind of people who are actually solving it. The question
Yeah.
was really good. The way that was framed for an interview, it was very good.
Mm. Right. Okay. So I think we can move on to some Q&As, like some basic questions like students, how does CGPA matter?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. I think CGPA does matter. I mean, not in a way ki, like you need to spend all your time on trying getting a very high CGPA. You don't need a 10 out of 10 actually. You just need a decent CGPA so that it will not become any issue for you when you are actually applying for companies. Basically, not all the companies consider CGPA, but still there are many companies that actually see a CGPA because they want to see whether you are disciplined with your things. If you are disciplined with your academics, you will be disciplined with your work. So I think people should concentrate they should give some amount of time for academics as well and have a decent CGPA. Anything greater than 7.5 or 8, anything greater than 8 should be good.
Right. Got it. And do you want to highlight upon the difference between competitive programming and a standard DSA that is usually asked in interview?
Yeah, so basically, I would suggest ki, like people should start competitive programming when they are very early. Like if you are starting with engineering in India, then I think you should start with CP if you are in a first year of your engineering. So that would give a high level of mathematical thinking and computational way of thinking. I think by doing this, you can do very good in interviews. Like if you are starting very early in a first year or second year, you can do very well. But if you are actually going for interviews, I would ask you to concentrate on the DSA instead of CP. CP is like a kind of sports that you will be using to improve your thinking. But I think if you are preparing for interviews, you should concentrate on the standard DSA, doing problems on lead code, improving your DSA knowledge and all, studying
Right.
all the different data structures and algorithms.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and what is the usually interview about? Like, is it like only about problem is given and we have to just solve it and it should be correct or no? Or other parameters are there which influence the result?
I think this is one. This is the solving the problem correctly is only one thing that interviewer will look in the interview for. He also looks for your how you are approaching your problem, like how you can understand the problem, how you collect the requirements when you are actually like analyzing the problem, and then how do you approach the problem. Basically, interviewer doesn't want the most optimized solution. He wants you. He wants to see whether you are able to break down the problem into a simple chunks such that you are solving each chunks using some of the techniques that you already know in that way, and then you can again come up with a solution using those small problems. So
Right.
mostly I think, yeah, the way you approach is the main thing when you are actually solving a problem rather than the actual solution. Because if your approach is correct, and even if you don't come up with a final answer, uh, it's still good. But if your answer is, if you are getting your answer and you seem like you have seen the problem already and you are simply coming up with a solution directly, then that would have a bad impression on the interviewer.
Right. So, do you have any suggestions for preparation just before the interview, 1 day or 1 week before interview?
If you are having only 1 week for the interview, I would suggest you to concentrate on the fundamentals, like just go through the networking simple concepts like these layer OSI model and all the different TCP, UDP, and all the different protocols and all. And also for the database, go through the simple things like normalizations, all the summarizable things like this. And also regarding the DSA, I think you can simply study the data structures like stacks, queues, linked list, binary trees, and all. And also look up for the standard algorithms like binary search, and some of the algorithms related to graphs, very like DFS, BFS.
Hmm.
I think that should be enough. I think before a week, you should always try to revise and summarize instead of going deep into a certain topic.
Right. So, during the interview, do you have any suggestions like what should be the mindset?
I think during the interview, people should forget ki like they are giving the interview. They should think that the interviewer is their friend, and they are simply solving just another questions.
Right.
That Yeah, that will greatly reduce their stress, and the nervousness will completely gone. Many people will not come with a solution because of the nervousness, even though they know the solution, but they could not come up with because their mind will not be working at 100% state. So I would
Hmm.
say, uh, just leave everything there. Just think that you are solving another problem here, but instead you need to explain here.
Hmm.
Instead of just solving, you need to explain the problem, how you are approaching the problem. If you are
Got it.
of that mindset, definitely nothing. You will never face a nervousness, and uh, not come with a approach even if you know the approach.
Right. So, yeah, I think we are almost towards the end of the session. Do you have anything to share, like any funny incidents during an interview?
Yeah, so basically, I have done many interviews till here, around 5 to 6 if I remember. And of all those, I have got a very cool interviewers. All the interviewers are very nice. I have never seen a rude interviewer in my journey till now. And one of them was very cool. Like after solving a simple problem for 30 minutes, and the rest 30 minutes we simply talked about all the personal things like the traveling, and what are the hobbies and all. And if you are talking about a traveling, like where he studied, how the interviewer actually enjoyed traveling in a place that I said.
Hmm.
So yeah, he was very friendly, and was almost talking like a friend of mine who I was a friend for years. Yeah,
Okay.
so that cool the interviews will be basically.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's nice to know.
Yeah.
So, I think with that we can end this session. Thank you, Bharat, for being with us. Hoping to have you again for your intro experiences with many other companies that you have taken.
Yeah, sure, Shashank. Thank you for having me here today. I'm very happy I'm contributing for your good thing you are doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.